Good morning, my name is Sri Devi. I'm from Ernakulam. I completed graduation and post-graduation in biotechnology and I worked as a biotechnologist. After that, I worked as a medical coder for a few years. In 2017, I started my career as a full-time home tutor. In 2022-23, I worked as a medical coding tutor. After that, I joined Angle BLearn as a full-time home tutor. That's about my profile. Okay, so today we have a new chapter, a new topic, that is mitochondria. So I will share the screen. Okay, hope you can see the screen correctly. Okay, fine. So mitochondria, I think you heard about mitochondria in your previous classes because it's one of the important organelle of the cytoplasm of a cell. Okay, so in this picture you can understand where is mitochondria located. Yes, that yellowish one. Yes, that yellowish one is mitochondria, and you can see the structure also. What kind of a structure is that? It's an elongated structure. Okay, this is elongated structure. The structure is almost like a sausage, like this elongated structure. Okay, so do you know the other name of mitochondria? Correct, powerhouse of cell. Okay, powerhouse of cell. So why it is called the powerhouse of cell? Because they producing majority energy for the cell cycle, cell multiplication and other cellular activities. So they are the main contributors of cellular energy. That's why they are called what? Powerhouse of cell. Okay, so in this picture, can you identify it's a what kind of picture? What kind of picture is this? Just observe closely so you can find out. There is no cell wall, so it's an animal cell. There is no cell wall, there is only plasma membrane, that is the outer boundary. So it's an animal cell. So in this animal cell you can see almost all organelles, and in this mitochondria are the topic of study. Okay, so let's start. This is the structure of mitochondria, and you can see the interior portions also. So we start from the outer portion. What are the outer portions? Yes, membranes. So there is outer membrane and inner membrane. Outer membrane and inner membrane is there, and inside the inner membrane you can see a blue color shaded area, that is called matrix. Matrix means it is the fluid like substance, matter like, which is in cytoplasm. Okay, so in this matrix what all things you can see? Okay, tell it, means read it loudly. Granules, ribosomes, ATP synthase particles, DNA. Okay, these are the contents of or the components of matrix. Okay, so granules, you can see the granules, and the ribosomes. Ribosomes always small structures. And DNA, you can see DNA, round DNAs. Okay, that means the mitochondrial DNA is round shape, like this. I will draw it correctly. And again it's a double stranded, so like this. That is kind of a helical structure. Okay, So you can see the DNA. From this, what you understood? Yeah, this organelle is highly organized one. That's why it possesses its own DNA. Every organelles don't have their own DNAs. Okay, so here also you can see cristae, this term cristae. What is cristae? You can see this kind of foldings here. So these foldings are called what? Cristae. Okay, why cristae have the foldings? To increase the surface area. For example, I will draw a line, not line, suppose it's a thread. Okay, this is a thread. And one other thread I am placing here, which have the structure. I am placing in this kind of structure, So which one will be the longest one here? Which one will be the longer? First one or second one? If we extend it, the second one. If we extend the second one, it will be long like this. So cristae is only means the cristae is for increase the surface area. Why? Because cristae have, if it is a cristae like this, have some structures like this. That is not in this picture. So these structures mainly involved in the production of ATP. That I will tell in the coming points. Okay, and here you can see intermembrane space like this. This space is called intermembrane space. Inter means in between. Okay, in between. Inter means in between. Okay, yes. So this is intermembrane space, and also ATP synthase particles. ATP synthase particles, which is located where? In matrix. Okay, so ATP synthase particles means, this synthase means if there is ase at the end, that means it's enzyme. Okay, it can be enzyme precursor molecules. Enzyme precursor molecules means, the previous form of the active molecules. That means that are called precursors. Okay, so ATP synthase particles are present here. So this is the overall structure of what? Mitochondria. Okay, next I will discuss the points detailing. That we talked that it is a sausage shaped or long cylindrical structure found in both plant and animal cell. What type of cells are they? Means they are prokaryote or eukaryote? So they are eukaryote. Eukaryote means, I will write it, eukaryote. Eukaryote means what? Eukaryote means, means true, karyo means nucleus. This means True. Carry-on means carry on, not carry-o. Carry-on means nucleus. That means true nucleus. Eukaryotes means true nucleus. That means plants and animals are eukaryotes, which means they have true nucleus. What is true nucleus? Like this, which have a nucleus, a nucleolus, a nuclear membrane, and this inside the nucleus there is genetic material. This is called true nucleus. So this cell is a very good example for eukaryotic cell, because this is an animal cell. Okay, did you got it? Is it clear? Okay. So the mitochondria present in case of eukaryotes. That means they are not present in prokaryotes. Prokaryote means bacteria, virus kind of animals which have no true nucleus. Okay. And mitochondria is double membrane bound structure that we already discussed. Here it have double membrane, outer membrane and inner membrane, and it's lumen into two compartments. That also we discussed. Except here the outer membrane and the inner membrane which have the foldings, and in between there is intermembrane space, and these foldings are called cristae. That all things we already discussed. Okay, do you have any doubt in that? Okay. And the outer membrane and inner membrane are made of what? Proteins. Every cellular membranes, you just remember this, every membranes are made of proteins and phospholipids. Okay, proteins and phospholipids, because through the membranes, if this is an outer membrane, if this is an inner membrane, ion transport channels are present in every membrane. So here the ions are going inward and outward direction. So these membranes need some small pores or channels which facilitate the transport of what? These ions or electrons. That means every biological membrane or cellular membranes which are made of protein and phospholipid. The structure of phospholipid is like this. Like this. This is the phospholipid bilayer. This is the head area and this is the tail area. This is head area and this is the tail area. This is hydrophilic structures. That means they react with water. Hydrophilic means this head region react with water. Hydrophilic. Okay, hydrophilic. And these tails, they are hydrophobic. Phobia means they resist, they don't like water. Okay, so they have a fear, they don't want to touch with water. Okay, contact with water. Okay, so the tail area is hydrophobic. PHOBIC. Okay, hydrophobic. Hydrophobic. So this structure, this is phospholipid bilayer. Two layer is there. This is one layer. This is another layer. So phospholipid layers and proteins are present in the outer and inner membrane. Did you got it? Do you have doubt in these structures? Okay. And the next point is the outer membrane cover the surface of mitochondria and has a large number of special proteins known as porins. Here we talked about proteins. What are the protein name? Porins. These porins are present at the outer membrane. At the outer membrane. If this is an outer membrane, this is inner membrane. Here porins are present. Porins are small proteins which create channels like this. Which create channels like this. I will write it, draw it continuously. So it creates some channels like this for the transport of molecules. So it creates some channels, some canal kind of structures, so that the electrons and ions can pass in both directions. So the outer membrane covers the surface of mitochondrion and has large number of special proteins called porins which facilitate the transport of what? Ions and electrons and some small molecules. Okay. The inner membrane forms a number of infoldings called cristae towards the matrix. That also we discussed, that what cristae have the foldings. One second, I will erase it so that I can draw another picture here. Okay, yes, cristae are the inner foldings, and for what purpose cristae are present there? To increase the surface area. Okay, here we told that which have this kind of structures, they are called oxysomes. These oxysomes what are present here in oxysomes? I think you people studied this in the previous year. ATPase enzyme. Okay, here ATPase enzyme present here, and this ATPase enzyme produce what? ATP. This ATP are the main source of what? Energy. Okay, they are often called powerhouse of cell. Why? Because this inner area have oxysomes. What are the name? Oxysomes. Okay, oxysomes. They have ATPase enzyme. Please say with me. Okay, ATPase enzyme which produce what? ATP. And this ATP is the main source of energy. That's why they are called the powerhouse of cell. Okay, powerhouse of cell. And what is the full form of ATP? Do you know the full form of ATP? Adenosine triphosphate. Okay, remember that, adenosine triphosphate. Okay, we will study the production of ATP in the coming classes, and in the next year also there is some cycles are there. So if you study that cycles, you will get a clear picture that how ATP is producing. Now you have just a peripheral study here in this chapter. Okay. ATP, that is adenosine triphosphate. This is the main product of what? Cellular respiration. What is cellular respiration? Do you know cellular respiration? Yeah, respiration of cells. But how the cells respirating? What happens in cellular respiration? Large organic molecules, for example glucose. I will draw the picture like this. It's a small picture, means just I'm writing, for example like this. It's a bond and molecules. It's bonded. It's a long chain. Suppose this is glucose. Okay. So what happens? Some enzymes act here. Enzyme act here and it will fractionate this long chain like this. So it become fractions. So what happens? What are the real contents here? Here the ATP is produced and carbon dioxide is produced and water also produced here. Okay. So some large organic molecules break down with the help of enzymes, and these enzymes, means these contents, later create what? ATP, carbon dioxide and water. These are the products of this cellular respiration. Okay, so not only the ATP is produced, means you normally think that here only the ATP is producing, but it's not like that. The other products also there, that is carbon dioxide and water. Okay, so this is what happens in cellular respiration. The longer molecules break down into smaller molecules. Later it gives ATP, carbon dioxide, water, which is mainly used for the cellular cellular activities, cellular energy. Okay. And that this area we already talked, means here I narrated the area. This, okay, so I'm not mentioning that. So from this, what you got understood? 90% of total of cell, 90% of energy of cell is formed in mitochondria, formed from mitochondria or formed in mitochondria. Both are same. Okay, that means 90% of ATP, that means energy, which is created where in mitochondria. That's why it is called the powerhouse of cell. Okay, we are just saying that mitochondria is a powerhouse of cell. Why? It is because in the cellular respiration they produce ATP, carbon dioxide and water. These products are utilizing for the further activities, cellular activities, metabolic activities of cell. That's why it is called powerhouse of cell. That is why mitochondria is called the powerhouse of cell. In short, that means the 90% of cells required energy, that is produced with the help of mitochondria. Okay, and we already talked about the matrix. Matrix have single circular DNA molecule, some RNA molecule factors or some RNA molecules, okay, and ribosomes. Here the ribosomes are 70S. What do you mean by 70S? 70S. Do you know 70S, 80S, that all things? 70S, which is normally we have two type of ribosomes, 70S and 80S. This 70S present in prokaryotes and some eukaryotes, and this 80S only present in, exclusively present in eukaryotes only. That means 70S is the smaller version of 80S. You got it? Yes. Okay. And the components required for the synthesis of protein. So what all things present in matrix? What all things present in matrix? Single circular DNA, few RNA molecules, ribosomes which is of 70S type, and some components required for the synthesis of protein. Why proteins are mentioned here, synthesis of protein? Because in the matrix what are present? Ribosomes are present. Ribosomes are mainly involved in the production of protein, okay. And the mitochondria divided by fission. What is fission? Fission, do you know fission, fusion, that you studied in your early classes? Fission, fusion, do you have any idea? Yes, the cell divides into two, like this. This is a mitochondria, and it divide into, what happened, some fission happens like this, some grooves, some depression happens at this area. So what happens? It become two, like this. Daughter cells happen. Daughter cells will happen from the previous cells. This is called fission, okay. Only matured cells doing what? Fission. You studied fission in which case? Normally we studying fission in which case? Yes, in case of bacteria, okay. And next is function of mitochondria. Mitochondria have lots of functions because it is one of the major component of cytoplasm. So the main function is what? Oxidative phosphorylation. Oxidative phosphorylation, because through this process mitochondria produce what? Energy. Actually this cellular respiration have 4 steps, like glycolysis, oxidative phosphorylation, and Krebs cycle, ETC. ETC means electron transport chain. These are the 4 major steps coming in cellular respiration. This happens in the mitochondria and ribosomes. That things you will study in the coming chapters or in the next year, okay. So the other functions are, main function is cellular respiration, in which the oxidative phosphorylation happens, and this oxidative phosphorylation is the major step for energy production, and it regulates the metabolic activity of cell. Metabolic activity of cell. Metabolic activity means the chemical activities, anabolic and catabolic activities. So the metabolic activity of cell is regulated by mitochondria. Why? Why it is regulated by mitochondria? because mitochondria are the main source of energy. So they have a major role in cell's activity. Okay, and promote the growth of new cells and cell multiplication. New cells and cells multiplication. How they promote? The same reason. For production of new cells, for the cells multiplication, cell require energy, and this energy is provided by whom? Mitochondria. So here also mitochondria have major role in new cell formation and cell multiplication. Okay, and helps in detoxifying ammonia in the liver cells. Detoxify means remove the toxins. So liver is the what organ? Liver is the detoxifying organ in humans. So this detoxification of ammonia is done with the help of mitochondria, because the liver cells have what? Mitochondria. Plays an important role in apoptosis or programmed cell death. Role in apoptosis or programmed cell death. The cell will die one day, but it will not happen within few seconds. It was programmed. Programmed means here the mitochondria act as a sensor. At the same time, it act as a executioner. Like they signaling the programmed cell death signals from the parts of cell, and they release some proteins. The proteins will elevate the path of, elevate means elevate the process, not path, process of programmed cell death. So at the same time they playing as a sensor and an executioner. Mitochondria have dual characters here. Okay, and mitochondria regulate the calcium ion concentration of cell by storing and releasing them. If a cell, suppose this is a cell which have what? Calcium, Ca2+. And here it is stored inside the cell. When other cells required, or the cell want to release the calcium, the mitochondria will help to regulate that release, to regulate the calcium content in the cell. Okay, and they also provide intermediate molecules like organic acid, amino acids for the synthesis of important biomolecules. Okay, lots of biomolecules are producing here. For that they need some precursors like organic acids and amino acids. Amino acids are what? They are the base of proteins. Okay, so the amino acids and organic acids are provided by these are the intermediate molecules. Okay, they are provided by whom? Mitochondria. For the production of biomolecules. What are biomolecules? Do you know biomolecules? What are biomolecules? Carbohydrate, nucleic acid, lipids, proteins. These are the main biomolecules. Okay, so these biomolecules are produced with the help of mitochondria, and it also involved in various cellular activities like cellular differentiation. What is cellular differentiation? From a common cell, like from this is stem cells. From stem cells different types of cells are producing. like nerve cells, blood cells, um, neuron cells, like this different kinds of cells producing from one cell type. This is called cell differentiation, cell differentiating into other types. Okay, next is cell signaling. The cell react with other cells and the environment by giving and taking some signals. And cell senescence. What is cell senescence? You heard this word senescence. Cell senescence means the cell will not divide, but it will not die. That condition is called cell senescence. Cell normally at the mature stage, cell will divide and give rise to new cells. But here what happens? Cell will not divide and it will not die. That condition is called cell senescence. And controlling the cell cycle, because cell cycle need more process, means that is involved cell division, then only cell growth will happen. So the cell growth, cell cycle, cell division all require lots of energy. This energy mainly provided by whom? Mitochondria. Okay, so these are the main functions of mitochondria. So in contrast, what? Mitochondria is called the powerhouse of cell. Mitochondria have their own DNA. Mitochondria matrix is included what? Granules, ribosomes, some ATP synthase enzyme particles, and their own DNAs. And they have cristae to increase the surface area. The cristae have some oxysomes which involved in the production of ATPase enzyme which produce ATP. The main function of mitochondria is oxidative decarboxylation. That means the production of ATP, and that's why it is called the powerhouse of cell. The 90% of cell energy is provided by whom? Mitochondria. Okay, that is about mitochondria. I hope you understood the topic. If you have any doubt, you don't hesitate to ask me. I will always there to clear your doubts. Okay, so thank you for your cooperation. Thank you very much.